What is going on, guys? Welcome to News with Block. It is the 2nd of December 2021, and most importantly, it is the day before my birthday. So don't worry, I'll provide my BTC wallet address at the end of the video so you can all send your Bitcoin to me. I only accept one Bitcoin at a time, none of these sats business. Anyway, laughs and lols and jokes aside, we have got a hell of a lot of news to get through today. So let's jump straight into it, guys. And first of all, as always, this video is brought to you by the next-gen smart trade platform, Mizar. It has been launched in December, so make sure you sign up for the pre-release now at www.mizar.ai. And what are you going to get from this? Well, it's got copy trading, it's got DCA bots, it's got smart trades, it's got some insanely cool functions on there, from like auto trading, safety shift orders, so you can set your safety orders where you want, as opposed to having to stick to fixed coefficients, and a whole bunch more features. But of course, you can only find out about these and you can only use these by signing up, and get it on there at www.mizar.ai. It's going to be launching soon and it's going to change the face of trading. But let's have a look at, first of all, what's going on in the world of crypto, what's moving, what's shaking, and the top 10 crypto movers and shakes at the moment. In number 1 is Bitcoin, that has given everybody a little bit of a scare over the past 24. It's currently moving at 56,448.49 cents, and in the past 24 we've seen a 3.36% drop, and in the past 7 days it's dropped 3.92%. Still maintaining above $1 trillion at $1 trillion and 65, and just the 65 billion thrown in there as well. In number 2 is Ethereum at $4,518. It has fallen 3.73% today, but is still on the up at 1.25% over the past 7. In third place is Binance Coin, which has fallen 4% down to $619.98, and it is down on the week at 2.03%. Still sitting at 103 billion, it is still holding number 3 strongly, as coins do. Anyway, in number 4 is USDT, in number 5 is Sol, number 6 is ADA, in number 7 is XRP. No major change on that. USDC still claims number 8, and number 9 is DOT, and number 10 is still Doge, so no changes there. Let's see what's been going on in the more macro news and the world of Bitcoin as well. So most recently, this has been coming to light, and on the 8th of December, we're going to see some quite exciting movements within the whole, committees coming together to really tackle a lot of these regulatory issues, or at least shine a spotlight on them, with some of these big figureheads of different exchanges all coming together to present themselves in front of, the more regulatory bodies. So top crypto execs to testify before House Committee regarding crypto financial innovation. And in brief, several top executives of cryptocurrency-related companies are expected to testify before the House Financial Services Committee on the 8th of December. According to the title of the hearing, its purpose is to understand the challenge and benefits of financial innovation with regards to digital assets. Committee Chair Maxine Waters emphasized ensuring there is accountability of large financial institutions and emerging tech products and services. So this is worth putting in your diary for the 8th of December, as a lot can be learned from this, certainly by the bodies that they're being presented to. It's all about understanding the innovation and the purpose of why crypto is going to be so important. So at the top of the list of those summoned to make an appearance is Sam Bankman-Fried, CEO of crypto exchange FTX. Since founding the exchange in 2019, the 29-year-old's profile has risen dramatically. Inking promotion deals with the likes of NFL legend Tom Brady, he is also reputed to be the wealthiest crypto billionaire, having amassed a fortune of $22 billion, which he has pledged to charity. What a guy, right? Another high-profile name expected to speak is Brian Brooks, who briefly CEO of the US arm of Binance earlier this year. After serving as the Trump administration's acting comptroller of the currency, Brooks now runs crypto miner Bitfury Group Limited. Bitfury, honestly, I absolutely love that name. I'm so jealous of that company name. The biggest crypto exchange in the US will also be represented by Coinbase CFO Alessia Haas. So some real big hitters there, guys. Make sure you've got the 8th of December in your diaries and follow that probably on Twitter and I'm sure it's going to be covered by a lot of your, usual suspects, Cointelegraph, Decrypt. So be on there. I know I'm certainly going to be picking apart everything from it come the 8th of December, hopefully, if not 9th of December. So make sure you check it out on News with Block, and we'll see what we get from it. Hopefully it's all positive and they accept it and embrace it, and cryptocurrency is now the new dollar, and Jerome Powell can go sit on the bench. But next up, this is huge news, to be quite honest, but also very expected news, let's face it. Facebook parent Meta reverses crypto ad ban. I mean, they'll be pretty much cuffed to a sinking ship if they didn't in this case, considering the direction that they're going in Meta. I mean, clue is in the title, guys. If they weren't allowing cryptocurrency-focused adverts, it's going to be pretty tricky for them. They'll be literally, like I said, cutting their nose off to spite their face, and considering that Facebook or Meta primarily takes all of their income basically from advertisements these days, it would be hugely opposing to their money-taking strategies to not allow it. So Facebook initially banned crypto ads in the January 2018 as a digital asset market imploded after the ICO bubble popped, and essentially everybody FOMO'd in stupidly into very many different ICO coins, and that's where crypto kind of got its initial bad rap from. So as regulators provide more clarity on digital assets and licensure expands, Facebook once again is embracing this market. Now, Facebook's DM stablecoin project has stalled, but Meta, as the name implies, is going all in on the metaverse. So nothing new there. However, going forward, we will be moving away from the variety of signals to confirm eligibility and instead requiring one of these 27 licenses, Meta said in a blog post. This change will help make our policy more equitable and transparent and allow for a greater number of advertisers, including small businesses, to use our tools and grow their businesses. Now, quite funny when they say these small businesses, like at the end of the day, what they want is they want loads of investment into advertisement from these huge projects, all of your, whether it's Decentraland, Solana, Ethereum, whatever, they want all of the promotional money and balances to be going into Meta. And that's what they want at the end of the day. It's in no way a nice, humble, I believe in cryptocurrency move. In my opinion, this is purely fiscal based and all about getting that sweet marketing budget from all of these big companies. Anyway, I'm not complaining because it's news like this that will really pump the price of Bitcoin, but also bring in a lot of new blood into the world of cryptocurrency, and I would say probably a more consumer and retail focused kind of blood, in that Facebook is a little bit long in the tooth now. It's not very trendy anymore. Since the launch of Facebook, we've had Twitter, we've had YouTube, not necessarily YouTube, but we've had Twitter come out, we've had Instagram come out, we've had TikTok come out, and like I said, it's a bit prehistoric, to be honest. So thus the obvious change to Meta to try and be a little bit more front running now. But it does also mean it comes with a bunch of, older, social media users, and probably people who are not necessarily as exposed to crypto. So, this is actually pretty good news. We're going to get a lot more not indoctrination, but a lot more kind of immersion into the world of crypto for a lot of these users, and the exposure is just going to be awesome. So for one, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. Any kind of mainstream adoption for crypto is good news in my opinion. What else we got? So this is literally just in. I'm recording at 15:04 UTC, and this came in at 14:32 UTC. So I've not fully read it all through, but all I saw was a headline: India will not ban crypto report. 100% going to go in this. So the initial kind of headline reads, India's plan to ban cryptocurrency has been scrapped according to a local report. The Indian government plans to regulate private cryptocurrencies instead of banning them, according to a report made by local media outlet NDTV that cites a cabinet note. This would be a big departure from the agenda India's much-awaited crypto bill that includes imposing a blanket ban on cryptocurrencies of the likes of Bitcoin. The plan to prohibit private coins was expected to be met with strong opposition from India's cryptocurrency. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, will be responsible for regulating crypto trading platforms. The government also has no plans to follow the example of El Salvador by making Bitcoin legal tender. The bill uses the term crypto assets to refer to cryptocurrencies to highlight that they will not be allowed as a means of payment. There will be a cutoff date for Indians to come under the exchange and report cryptocurrency holdings. Crypto exchanges that fail to comply with the new rules will face monetary penalties of up to 20 crore or $2.6 million. Their operators could also face up to 1.5 years behind bars. The bill is likely to be cleared by the cabinet by the end of next week, as per the report. While India is preparing for a paradigm shift on regulatory front, the country is far from welcoming crypto with open arms. According to a recent poll, almost 50% of Indians have zero trust in the novel asset class. So not too much news there. We kind of knew that it was more focused at privacy coins, but it is still great news that India is going to go for it. And as that news dropped, we saw that Bitcoin actually saw a very, very strong candle. Because let's face it, over the past 24 hours, it's been a little bit shaky. This is kind of partly to do with the S&P 500 taking a big dump yesterday just before market close. That caused a lot of fear and uncertainty throughout globally. To be honest, we saw a lot of markets kind of crash instantly, so we were all a little bit on edge. We didn't really know what was going on. However, we've maintained this support around about $56,000, which we saw a lot of buys sitting there. There's a lot of buys sat at 59K as well. So we are very much in this ranging period, which I'll be honest, I'm not too unhappy about. If we can get out of this downward movement with printing lower lows and lower highs and get more into a ranging periods to really build up that consolidation volume. And this is the way, guys, that we are going to get to 100K. We can't just do it in one straight line upwards as much as, well, whilst that would be fun if you're just holding Bitcoin, it's not great news for the rest of the alt market because we want, these retraces to occur with Bitcoin in order for that money to filter down to BTC. But yeah, no, I mean, I'll be honest, like this most recent candle with BTC has been pretty good. We have broken down on this small consolidation triangle, which is printed here, and it's looking kind of like a bear flag. I was expecting us to be heading down at some point to be testing the 55K region on this upper side of the descending wedge. Although whether we get there or not, we'll have to see what this candle does, whether it gets rejected at this lower side of this kind of symmetrical triangle. It's an interesting one, to be honest. Like I said, I have a couple of key points here. If we go below 56K this time, I think we're going to struggle to get straight back above, and we might continue down to 55, maybe 54K. On the flip side, if we start to get back above these 20 DMAs and the 50 DMAs, which are currently sitting at around about 58,260, then things are going to look a little bit more bullish. But most notably, I'm not particularly interested until we get above about 59,300. Primarily because there is a lot of sell sat around that 59K mark, a lot of resistance there. It has been rejected very hard from that region several times, so I'm not particularly interested in anything long on BTC until we get above that region. Again, this is not financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. So if you want to buy, buy. If you don't want to buy, don't buy. I don't care. This is not financial advice. However, you can only heed my warnings, if you will. It's a short-term outlook. Of course, all we're thinking is Bitcoin, according to Plan B stock-to-flow model, which unfortunately it was actually the floor model that failed, but the stock-to-flow model is actually still bang on. So we're going to think everyone is kind of seeing how that's turning out, and a lot of people, Bitcoiners, really do follow that as a bit of a Bible. But it's one of those self-fulfilling prophecies. If so many people believe in it, then more often than not, then that actually comes true. As we're talking, we're seeing a bit of rejection from this region as well. So we'll see how it pans out tomorrow. But yep, general targets, like I said, if it breaks down, then we're looking to about 54K potentially. Worst case scenario, probably about 51 to 52K. And then if we finally get above, then I have high hopes that we'll be just tracking straight on up to about 66K. Enough about Bitcoin, because I'm sure in the world of crypto, that is all we hear. First on the docket today, we have Ramp. Now, this is a Binance focused promotion that they're doing, and we are not sponsored by Binance in any way. It'd be nice if we were, and Binance, of course, if you want to send us loads of your lovely BNB, please feel free to. However, we're not sponsored, so we're not promoting this for Binance, or are we sponsored by Ramp in any way. However, Ramp is a great project. Ramp's one of those projects that is going to absolutely boom at some point. And what we're looking for is a bit of a fire starter, something to light that fuse. And this could be potentially something of that nature. And it's all about kind of spreading that exposure and that kind of learning aspect to what ramp is. And that's exactly what this this little competition is, or quiz is. It's learn and trade ramp, and you can win there's up to 150k in rewards up for grabs. Obviously not all to one person. You can see a breakdown of you know, the placements just down here. Obviously no one's going to sneeze at 14k in ramp tokens voucher. So check it out, guys. You know, it's all free. Well, I say it's all free. You've got to be trading at least 1,200 ramp in order to be eligible. Then you take the quiz, or for reward number 2 you've got to trade at least 10,000 ramp, which all in all I think is about $1,200, 10,000 ramp at the current price, which is, you know, trading volume wise not really a lot. It's like you don't have to be a millionaire to be achieving that or to be eligible for it. So check it out, guys, but let's have a quick look at the actual chart itself and what we're doing. And I'll be completely honest, one of the reasons why I wanted to include this in here is, like I said, you know, we're looking for that kind of spark, that fire starter in to get ramp going. Because if I'm being honest right now, guys, ramp has an insanely good chart. I mean, look at this consolidation phase that we're going through right here. It is just between, you know, 30 cents to 40 cents. We have not seen too much kind of outside of that. So this ranging and this consolidation that's going on is just waiting for a massive pump. And just check out the headroom that we've got here. It is just crazy. From the all-time high, we're still 321% from that all-time high. Going to be more conservative, and we are just using Binance at the moment, which is what I do all my analysis on. So, you know, I guess we can have a look at more historical charts here. But like I said, I just use Binance. It's the biggest exchange. It's what I do all my trading on. It's what I kind of follow a lot, and I think what a lot of traders follow as well. So that's what I'm targeting. You know, love it or leave it, I don't care. But anyway, we're looking at this headroom of up to 221%, and we're in this consolidation zone. So what would my play be here? Well, as we are trading currently at 29 cents, around about here, there we go. You want to be accumulating as far down as about 13 cents here, right at the all-time low. As I always say, guys, you know, if we start to lose that last support, or that last kind of viable support, then there are larger things at play. There are bigger kind of Bitcoin crashes. There is some huge market movement going on. So I would say, you know, get the hell out of Dodge for now. Just hold your breath, wait for it to resurface, and, you know, to find that kind of floor. But we're looking at what and where we can be going from here. So let's have a look at some of the targets that we'll be looking at. Put this on there. Let's target the all-time high, and then our first target would be, you know, around about 47 cents. We can have a more conservative target. I'll probably ignore that one. There. And our next target would be 68 cents. Our next target would be $1 on the nose, no brainer. And then, of course, at our all-time high. I have real no doubt that, you know, ramp is going to start to track down some of these TPs without question. Just depends how long. Of course, bear that in mind. Don't go all in right now. If you do, and it does track on down to this all-time low, whilst it doesn't look much on the chart, you could be 50% down. Or alternatively, if you DCO well, you could be 50%, 25% better off. So think of it that way, guys. Okay, now we got a bit of bullish, sorry, the opposite of bullish. What's the opposite of bullish? Bearish news. Excuse me. So the opposite of bearish news, bullish news, we'll get there eventually, guys. I do know words, trust me. I promise. You know, I have this quintessential English accent, which means I know words. Unfortunately, they just don't come out in the right order. But anyway, we're looking at some bearish news here. In a DeFi protocol, Badger DAO exploited for 120 million in front-end attacks, and I don't mean to kind of have a laugh or a smirk at that, but, you know, these kind of attacks at the moment are just, they seem kind of weekly, every week, and then for no small amounts. This is $120 million. DeFi protocol Badger DAO was exploited earlier today for $120 million. It appears that its front end was compromised and users were tricked into making unwanted transactions. Hell of a lot of unwanted transactions there. So Badger has received reports of unauthorized withdrawals of users' funds. As Badger engineers investigate this, all smart contracts have been paused to prevent further withdrawals. Badger DAO tweeted today confirming the exploit. Not ideal. Now this is one that we're going to highlight. One user had around 900 bitcoins at about 50.8 million worth of tokens stolen in a single transaction. Another lost 5 million worth of tokens in one go. Absolutely devastating. Oh well. Oh well. For hopefully it is one of those white hat kind of hackers that are just proving a big hole in the system, and they're going to turn around and be like, "Hey guys, don't worry about it. We got your back. Now just employers, part of the Badger, will help you out." Although sadly, it doesn't always happen like the Polygon hack happened, and I think worst case scenario, they might not see any of those funds returned. But as you can imagine, we'll have a quick look at the chart. It has completely destroyed the current price movement. Given with a bit of uncertainty in the market and BTC's current movement, that kind of caused a bit of a 23-25% dump. We are seeing a bit of an ABCD harmonic pattern printing there. Would I be going in on this coin? Right now, no. I mean, I kind of feel like with these hacks, it's always good to have a bit of resolve, a bit of confirmation that there's an end to it, that whatever has caused the problem has been openly solved. Like I said, that plug hole has been blocked, because right now we could go in and we could be a little bit like, hey, let's buy the dip, let's get in there, guys. We're seeing a nice bit of a not doji candle, but I think that's a morning star. Don't know my candles ever so well, but we're seeing a great big wick there, which would kind of indicate some sort of bullish bounce potentially. That to me is not enough to confirm. I mean, we're not really even sat on a very decent support, whether it be long term. We're kind of in this middle ground of liquidity from way back here. So yes, I think it could still track down a bunch more, potentially down to another 20%. So for me, I wouldn't really be touching Badger with a barge pole. Let's just give that a bit of a breathing space and come back to it when it starts to find a bit of stability. Now let's take a little look at what CZ is up to. Now Binance has been trying to get confirmed as an exchange within Singapore for quite some time. And Singapore is historically, well, in the very tiny historical time of cryptocurrency being around, very pro-crypto. However, they do like a lot of control. So it is a bit of swings and roundabouts there, and Binance have been waiting for quite some time in order to get this over the line. But breaking, Binance Singapore to reportedly withdraw its permit application. Now, what this is saying to me is, as great as it is to have the exchange running in Singapore, I beg your pardon, is also, from an exchange point of view, Binance is huge, like Binance is 10 times bigger than the nearest competitor. So they're at a point where they're being welcomed into many different countries, looking to set up their headquarters potentially in France, or, in Ireland, and they're doing well, and do they need to be kind of hanging on Singapore to accept them? It should really be the other way around, which ultimately it will be at some point. They should be asking them to come. And I have no doubts that since all those regulatory uproar the exchanges went through, how many months ago was it, when nobody wanted Binance in the country? 5 months ago, when Binance was just having real trouble, like getting being allowed to trade in any countries, to withdraw money, banks to accept them. I think it's still a couple of banks in the UK that are refusing, not allowing you to send money to the wallets. I mean, how absolutely stupid is that? So I've never seen more kind of abuse of power in my life than that. So they're essentially, what happens if it was a car and they say, oh no, we're not too sure about the safety of that, we're not going to allow you to buy a Tesla, but hey, we will allow you to buy a Polestar or whatever, or vice versa. It's kind of like, I don't want you to tell me how I can spend my money. If I want to go 100x or 1000x on a YOLO coin, then you let me do that. You let me kind of wax my money wherever I want to. But yeah, sorry, a bit of a rant over there, but as you can tell, it is a bit frustrating when banks feel they can do that. So I feel you, CZ, if they're kind of dragging their heels with this whole regulation, then go to one of the many countries that will accept you. I am a big Binance supporter. I quite like them. They've never done me wrong. I suppose at the first kind of wallet hack or whatever, and then I'm going to hate them, and then I'll be all about FTX or whatever. But until then, Binance till I die. Next up on Binance, actually, so Binance Smart Chain activates real-time BNB burning mechanism. So this is super great. I mean, BNB is already doing great things with having the BSC network up and running, very nice cheap fees, huge exchange behind it. This BNB token isn't going to go anywhere. It's got some great kind of reductions in, you hold, you don't really have to hold too many, to be honest, to start to get your VIP levels up. Well, at the moment you do. I mean, with the price, I don't think they really need to kind of figure that out, kind of lower the actual requirements for BNB tokens versus how much it's worth at the moment. No fault of their own. The value of the token's gone up through a lot of burning mechanisms, but this burning mechanism, which is Binance Smart Chain BSC, recently activated BEP95, which integrates a real-time burning mechanism into a tokenomic structure. From now on, a fixed ratio of gas fees collected by BSC validators will be burned in each block. So this is not a million miles away from what Ethereum's doing at the moment. There are a few different differences. So that means there's a lot of differences, but there's a few differences. So while implementing this BEP might decrease the total amount of BNB that validators and delegators receive from staking, the fiat-denominated value of their rewards may increase. Claimed Binance, this burning mechanism would further reduce BNB supply, thus increasing the demand would drive the BNB value higher. This is what we want to hear, guys. This is what we want to know about when we're looking at holding any tokens, that deflationary aspect to anything, increasing the demand for it all. This is like a hodler's dream. If you've bought BNB at a good price, then no-brainer. Just hold. It's only going up. I mean, we are right now about 11% off the all-time high, and I think BNB is just going to go and go and go and go. I believe we're going to be getting to like similar price brackets as I think we're easily going to 5x with BNB. We're sat at 100 billion market cap for it, which I think is hugely undervalued. I just think if it's when they can start to find more use case scenarios for it, which they will, I believe that this is just going to go parabolic. So bear that in mind. Again, not financial advice. It's one of those tokens, or one of those charts at the moment when I wouldn't really be looking at it too much because we're so near to the all-time high at the moment that it's just not very kind of. Oh, my charts are going very slow. One of these many screens must be slowing it down, or indicators. But taking a look at this, you have a huge amount of accumulation that you can do. So anywhere down to 250. I mean, I would dream for even lower, actually, down to 200. I'd say would be anything below 200. Then something seriously wrong is occurring. But from here, I would say anywhere down to more realistically around about 475 would be an excellent. 480 would be an excellent place to be picking up BNB at its lowest. I don't see it kind of dropping too much below that. Certainly if we're on the cusp of a big bull cycle, I think we're going to be looking at the next big leg up of where BNB is going to be going. Conservatively, I would say $1,000. That's a bit of a no-brainer for me. That's where I'd be taking a lot of my profit for BNB, if not most of it. I know I said it's 5xing, but it's not going to 5x, I think until the next bull cycle or even the one afterwards when crypto's in a more truly globally established mainstream adoption. Even from there, that's 60% up. Just make sure you get your accumulation zones down and set your buy orders now. If we see any major crashes, then it's worth picking up as much BNB as low as you can in the dips. Anyway, BNB, it rocks, get it. Next up, the competitor, as I mentioned. Vitalik Buterin puts forward EIP 4488. The proposal is meant to offer a short-term solution to the problem of high layer 2 gas fees. Don't think a day goes by running block party trading where we don't hear about Ethereum gas fees, so hopefully this will, if anything, be a bit of a solution for my sanity. But of course, it's always great to not be paying more in gas fees than you are for the actual transaction, which we see and hear about so much. But Vitalik Buterin has co-authored a new Ethereum improvement proposal, EIP 4488, that seeks to reduce the gas cost of layer 2 scaling solutions. The proposal emphasizes the importance of layer 2 rollups, but also acknowledges their imperfections. If implemented, the proposal could dramatically decrease layer 2 gas fees in the very near future. Brilliant. I'll believe it when I see it. Near future for us with Ethereum could be as long as a year. But okay, great. I openly embrace any kind of progress and certainly reduction in gas fees that we'll see. If you have a look at what and how it may have affected the price, well, unsurprisingly, we have seen a bit of a pump over the past 2-3 days of around about 15%. This has worked in kind of confluence with Bitcoin, no brainer there. But similar to BNB, we are so close to the all-time high. We're like 5.3% off it. So, bear that in mind, guys. Don't go barreling in on Ethereum just yet. And if you do, make sure you practice a good dollar costing strategy. And as I say, there is always room to accumulate. Never spend all of your money on one order. I say that because I know that, I have been burnt many times before, as sure as I have been many of these orders. Don't fall victim to that. However, what would I suggest? Well, I think you can start to accumulate now for sure, but just not high, like down to around about 4K, if I'm being honest with, because we see quite a nice bit of support just here, a nice kind of resistance flip to support there. Anything below that, then I'd hold my breath a little bit and probably look to keep my eye on this 200 DMA. If we lose the 200 DMA here, then that's pretty bad news all around, but it does look like we're kind of getting into a bit more of a stronger liquidity, less high liquidity area, so we can see a bit more support around here. So, okay, I'll readjust that down to about 3.5K is where my accumulation zone would be from here. What are my targets? Well, probably about 7.5K. I know I'm kind of just throwing that around, but we're currently sat at around about 500 billion. Market cap for Ethereum, do I see it kind of going up or to a trillion? Probably not yet, no, because that's Bitcoin level. Maybe not until next bull cycle. We need to be probably progressing more towards a $6 trillion market cap for crypto all round in order to see those figures. But could I see it rise by like, what are we on, 62%, 50% market cap? Yeah, for sure. I think that's very, very achievable for this coming bull cycle. So keep your eyes peeled on that, and certainly if we see this actual kind of fee reduction implemented soon, and we see a lot of people starting to use Ethereum alongside Solana. I don't think Solana's going anywhere. In fact, we'll have a look at that now. So Solace raises 4.36 million to build the first cross-platform VR metaverse on Solana. Solace is thrilled to announce that its seed round of funding has officially closed. The investment was led by 3 Arrows Capital, Animoca Brands, and Defiance Capital. Now, we're not going to deep dive too much into this article because it's just more kind of metaverse noise, but that's exactly why I'm referencing this article here. News of Block is because it is metaverse noise. Anything with metaverse mentioned is always kind of very, very pumpy for any project. Solana is pretty massive at the moment. It's quite small beans comparatively at 4.36 million, but it is still something to take note of that this is a first of something, first cross-platform VR metaverse on Solana, which means that there's a very, very quick, scalable potential evolution from that step. This is what I did want to reference though. Solana's energy use report November 2021 is so cool, right? So a single Solana transaction will use 1,837 joules, whereas a single Google search is 1,080, which means that about 1.5, let's say 2. Okay, so 2 Google searches is the same as a Solana transaction. To put that into perspective, one Ethereum transaction is 692 billion joules, and one Bitcoin transaction is 6.9, let's say 7 trillion joules, assuming that me reading all those commas is correct. I mean, come on. Like, in a world where energy usage and is so focused on not by general public but also by these hedge fund investors, it's so important. I can't stress that enough. If they're going to be holding these different assets, they want the most green assets, and because this is what people investing in these institutions want. So heed my warning here that this is more important than is letting on. But what's it doing? I mean, Solana is, you should be buying the dip regardless of whatever happens in Solana. Solana is going up. This is going to be a coin of the future. This is the next big one. This is a very, very kind of realistic ETH killer. I don't really need to draw too much else on here from my last analysis. We don't want to buy up here. We want to accumulate as it goes down. This is the trajectory that I think we're going on. If we're to move this over, we're about bang on where we've seen the bounce. Do I think it's going to shoot straight up to $300 from here? No, not at all. I think it's based on what Bitcoin's going to do. If we see a lot of money flowing into Bitcoin, we're going to see a lot of money flowing organically into Solana, Ethereum, XRP, all those kind of big high caps. Without question, ADA, hopefully, which we'll take a look at now. So anyway, guys, keep your eyes peeled on Solana. Cardano-based DEX announces date of testnet launch. So the Sunday swap, which we've finally been waiting for, has announced its testnet, which is coming out on December the 5th. So this is great, and we actually saw a bit of a nice little pump come from ADA, which I think everybody's been a bit desperate for, because it's just been so miserable since about the 8th of November. And we saw a good kind of a strong day. We're not out of the day yet, but that's a big candle for Cardano. And we're looking at 12% rise just on the last 24 alone. So what could this mean? Well, I think, guys, I think now might be a pretty good time to be accumulating. Cardano's great, you know, it's always good, it's always going to go back up. I have no doubts there, but you know, we probably thought the same when it was right back up here at $2.50, at $3, it was never going to go down. You know, it was just very lackluster after the launch of those smart contracts, but honestly, I think now could be a pretty good time to be buying in. And it's a great potential, nice tight accumulation zone, quite risk-free down here. You know, I'd accumulate from $1.68 now down to about $1 flat, and look at all this headroom. You know, I think we've spoken about this a few times before. Even just to the all-time high is 86%. I think we're going to blast through that at some point, potentially to $5. But you know, in a conservative estimate, I would be putting in my TPs a nice tight little one at $1.90, or even, you know, push it to $2 if you want. We'll get out just before. I generally always get out before those big psychological barriers. We'll take profit for sure. And again at $2.40. And then my next kind of TP would be actually sitting just a little bit below all-time high at around about $2.96. I certainly wouldn't be putting it at $3 or beyond, because I just think it's going to be a big retrace and a big opportunity to buy the dip then. So yeah, Sunday swap, bring it on. Last but not least, I don't want to talk about Elon Musk anymore. I want to talk about the new king of crypto, which is Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg builds mansion inside Sandbox Metaverse. Baller! So Snoop Dogg, or his real name, Cosimo de Medici, as he was known on Twitter as the kind of NFT kingpin, he has now built a virtual mansion inside the Sandbox Metaverse. I kind of, not only because I think Snoop Dogg's a bit of a dude for what he's doing in crypto, NFTs, whether it's his face or whatever, he's a bit of an OG, you know, he has a lot of respect within these communities and stuff like that. So if Snoop Dogg buys a mansion in the metaverse, what do you think the other rappers are going to do? You know, if Snoop Dogg gets a cool Gucci NFT sweater, what do you think the other rappers are going to do? So we could get into this bit of a baller where, you know, Selling Sunset has all those real kind of high-priced houses, whether they're, you know, 10, 20, 50 million dollars, and they seem to be getting snapped up. You know, the real estate in these kind of areas in LA are just going down and down and down, and there's just less and less and less. But the money's not going down. You know, this money's still there to be buying this stuff and this property. So where is there unlimited property? Well, we're looking at the metaverse now. You know, we're seeing millions and millions and millions of dollars being dropped on it. And what's interesting is people are like, no, this isn't insane. Like, if you'd have said that people are spending millions of dollars on real estate and virtual real estate a year ago, people would have called you insane. The same as NFTs, and now this is a thing. So, like I said, you know, whilst there is a little bit of tongue-in-cheek to this, this is also actually potentially the start of a very big movement. So let's see what comes of it. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for following. This is a longer news block today because there's a lot to cover. I want to tell you guys everything. I want to give you guys good positions, good potentials. But you can give us a like and a subscribe and follow us and hit the notification as well. It really, really helps us drive up the views, gets people following Block Party Trading. The more people that like us, the more we can give you. Don't forget to follow my homeboy, Mr. Reggie George, Pro Trader, on his Twitch streams from Friday to Monday as well. And of course, guys, any questions, drop them down in the comments below. That's where I'll leave all of the links to all of our stuff. As I always say, good things come to those who wait, and great things come to those who hodl.